Then he came and he entered and he said, Ashhadu la ilaha illallah, Ashhadu Muhammad Rasulullah. I bear witness in open testimony. There's only one God, one deity to worship, and that's Allah. And I bear witness Muhammad is his messenger. The fulfillment of the prophecy. Muhammad is the final and last messenger. This is the understanding of Ashhadu Muhammad Rasulullah. Which means automatically you accept Jesus as the Messiah, the Messiah. And look what they said. Did they say, hallelujah, let's follow Abdullah bin Salam, he's our leader, let's go, the son of the best of us, the righteous of us? No, they said, watch this. He's the worst of us, the son of the worst of us, the ignorant from us, and the son of the most ignorant of us. Something like this. By sharing this story, I do two things. I take them back in time and let them understand that there's always been history of those who accept Islam, but those who reject it. And let them realize that things haven't really changed that much either. Another story I love to share with them is the story of Adi ibn Hatim, the Christian who came to Islam, and this is in reference to shirk. This is the shirk which is committed by both the Jews and the Christians. I want them to understand how important it is to worship Allah alone without any partners. La ilaha. Yeah, you got to help me here. This is your program too, so when I call on you, you got to jump up and go for it. Okay. La ilaha Muhammad Rasulullah. Yeah, that's it. Cool. Now anyway, I want them to understand the depth of this. What does it mean? It doesn't just mean God is one. Whoa, another Muslim, he said God is one. Okay, great, good to go. No, it doesn't work like that. And I even give them the example, by the way, that suppose we're going down the road and we said, look, there's a hitchhiker. Let's pick him up, give him a ride, and on the way we'll give him the da'wah. We'll call him and try to get him to come to Islam. Okay, pick him up. Hitchhiker gets in the car. Along the way we go, oh, by the way, do you believe in God? Yep, sure do. Ah, you do? Well, you know, God is one. He said, that's right, I believe in only one God. Yeah, we got him. This is it. And oh, wait, there's one thing we forgot. Oh, yeah, and we only worship that God. He said, yep, me too. Okay. Yeah, and all the praises for him, all the thanksgiving to yep, that's it. Just one God, one God. We call him Allah. He said, I call him Shikakwa. Well, that's okay, I guess. Shikakwa's okay. But, you know, and as we're going along, you know, through the forest, you know, and he said, stop the car! So what happened? He jumps out of the car. He runs over to a big, tall tree. He makes sajda to this big tree. And he's making sajda to this tree. And you're thinking, maybe this is a sutra for him. You know, a block. Could be. Could be he's doing shukr Allah, but shukr shakwa or whatever. When he comes back to the car, you go, excuse me, what was that? He said, this is my worship to Almighty Shakakwa. Okay, that's nice. This only place you do that? He said, of course this is the only place to do that. In front of that tree? He said, that was no tree, that was Shakakwa. Oops. No. So you have to, when you talk about the Tawheed al-Islam, the true monotheism, the real monotheism, you have to make some clarifications. First and foremost is that when we talk about Allah, we're talking about the real God. The real God. The one they use the big G for, not the little g, the big G. They don't have a word in English for Allah. And so I tell them that. Your language is weak. Daif. You don't have a word for Allah. You have a word for God. God. But how do you make a difference between an Elah and an Allah? Elah, God. That's clear. Al-Ilah, the God. Aliha, gods. Goddesses, female. You have words in English for everything like this, but when we say Allah, you don't have a word for it. So you've been substituting a word for the Hebrew and for the Aramaic, and now you're trying to do the same for the Arabic, and you've been just using the same thing. God putting a big G and hoping you could get away with that. But it doesn't work, because if you start a sentence, any sentence in English has to start with what? Capital letter. So now if you start with the word God, I don't know which one you meant. God, God, or God, God. In fact, I'm confused now. And what about when you're talking to somebody, they can't see that big G, it's like, God! What? You don't have a word. Why don't you do, this is what I tell them, why don't you do what the Arab Christians do? They go, huh? Yes, there are Arab Christians, many Arab Christians. And in fact, probably everybody in this room knows somebody that's an Arab Christian, yes? We've all met Arab Christians, right? Okay. What do they call God with big G? Allah. Now, some of them don't want the other Christians to know about this in English. And they have actually denied it. They've said, oh, it's not the same God. Not the same God that we worship. No, no. See, but it's in your book. They trust that nobody can figure it out. They can't find it. But guess what? The Gideon Society has made that available for everybody. You can find out real easy. You know how? Just go to any hotel or motel on the planet, and almost every one of them, when you pull the drawer out and look in there, there will be a what? A Bible, placed by the Gideon Society. And may Allah guide them all. They did do a little something good. Turn 6 pages and look, the translation to the Afrikaans language of a verse, for God so loved the world. Then go down to the next one, Arabic language, for Allah so loved the, Alif Lam Lam Ha. There it is, right there in 50 million Bibles all over the world. You can go get one. Next time you're at a motel in one of those countries, just pull it out, and they don't mind. You can keep it. It's free, and take it with you. And the next time somebody says something to you, that's not a law, you say, why does it say so in their book? You need to tell them to fix the problem. And if somebody said, well, that's New Testament, that's true, it is. That's John 3:16, the 4th gospel. No problem. But if you get an Arabic Bible for the Old Testament, you'll be even more surprised, because in Genesis, the first 17 verses of Genesis have the word Allah 17 times. Whoops. So for sure, what they meant to say with the big G is what we're saying real clear with Alif Lam Lam Ha. Allah. When you do this, you do 2 things again. Now what happens is, you let them know that you have knowledge of their religion as well as your own, and you establish yourself as somebody who has common sense, and you're willing to open up other books and explain and share. No problem. We have no problem. They might say, well, I'm not going to open the Quran. Well, that's fine. Let us look in your book. We'll have no problem. The original Bible came from Allah. We'll be the first ones to tell you the Bible is from Allah. We'll be the first ones to tell you the Old Testament, it came from Allah. The New Testament, it came from Allah. No problem. We don't have a debate. We're happy to join you on this point. And then they say, well, what about where it says in the Bible so-and-so? You say, excuse me, wait a minute, hold on. You're speaking English, yes? You're quoting to me from an English book, yes? I don't agree that Allah sent down the Bible in English. So if you're going to quote it, we need to go back to exact